Hi guys, and welcome back. I am taking another walk and a little bit further. It's lovely because this is a perfect time. Everyone's indoors, but it's still sunny. Well, it's not sunny, it's been raining all day. That's why I'm wearing this big heavy coat, because in case it rains, I don't want it to get wet and just make my cold come back. And I've got my water, so let's get going. So I love this park. I'm going to show you it. Let's go this way. It's just full of green. It's just, oh God, help me work this thingy-majig. I'm so bad. I'm so sorry, guys. But look, it's got this most beautiful little bits. Anyway, if you're obsessed with green like I am, I love green and I love trees and nature. So if you're not obsessed like I am, I'm so sorry. But today I want to talk to you guys. My last video was about not getting impressed by nonsense. And then I realized that actually, yeah, okay, let's not get impressed by nonsense. But I don't think I've ever actually outlined what a high value man is. I think in some of my videos I have alluded to it, touched on it, but I haven't really spoken to you guys about a high value man. Like, what is a high value man? So we've spoken about a high value girl, and now we're going to talk about a high value man. So if you're not supposed to be wasting your time looking at things and being impressed by material things and being more enlightened, then what are you supposed to be looking for? What are the traits you're supposed to be looking for? And I think in some of my videos I've touched on a few, but I really just want to knuckle it down to just the very essentials, the real telling things about a high value man. And for me to do that, I had to sort of scroll through my favorite book, and I realized that Boaz was the best example that I could come up with of a high value man. So we're gonna go look at that dude. We're gonna go look at Mr. Big Steph, Boaz. And if those of you who don't know who that is, you want to Google Ruth and Boaz, and that is a story in the Bible that we all love. Okay, so have a read of that and come back to this channel, or just watch on and then go and have a read for those of you who don't possess Bibles. And just a little thing that I want to say to you guys. I know that the viewers on this channel come from all walks of life. I know that I've got Muslim girls, I've got Buddhists, I've got all sorts of people following me, and I just want you to know that you're totally welcome in Chengi's world. Okay, this is a party for every single person, but I always have to share from my inspiration. So, you know, what can I say? So let's go to that book. I'm not going to open it, I'm not going to reference any scriptures, so it's up to you guys to go do the research. So here goes. So before I go any further, make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already, and welcome if you're new to this channel and you're watching these videos for the first time. And if you are part of this channel, welcome back, and thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing, and talking about my videos. It means the world to me and it inspires me. Okay, so what is a high value guy? So we go back to the book of Ruth, and Mr. Boaz shows up, and he's all he sees Ruth in the field, because Ruth goes and starts to glean in his field, and she's doing work in his field. And what he does is he decides that he sees her, and he says he inquires about her, like, who's that chick, who's that girl? And they tell her. And then that book tells us that he says, and he commands the men around, because at that time, for a woman to be out gleaning by herself was a very vulnerable situation. She was prone to being raped and abused, molested, and all kind of crazy stuff, because it was just the order of the day. And I don't think things have changed very much. I think men still do it. I think, you know, when I became a single girl out in the world trying to make my way, I found myself really vulnerable to guys who will behave so ridiculously. I'm going to sit on this bench. Look at this bench, guys. So nice. And look at the view. I wish I could share that view with you. It's like this. There you go. Lovely, looking at the water. So I don't know what you're going to be looking at. I'm sorry if you're going to be looking at the bin, but just walk with me here. So Ruth is out gleaning and she's in a very vulnerable situation. And Boaz decides that what he is going to do is he's going to protect her. So he commands the guys in the field, and it's like, nobody touch that girl, okay? Like, nobody. If I hear that anybody touches her, it's on and popping, okay? So it's not going to happen. So he commands her safety. And that's one point, that's the first point that I want to make about a high value guy, is that you know when you're dating a high value man, or when you've met a high value man, when his instinct to protect you from danger is evident. So he says to you, you say to him, look, my car's broken down in the motorway. And the guy's like, have you called AA? I'm sleeping. I don't have time. See if you can call your sister. No. Okay. A high value guy is going to be like, where are you? Give me your postcode. Give me the coordinates. Give me where you are. I'm coming there right now. He's naturally and instinctively going to want to be there to protect you. He's going to care about where you are. He's going to get out of his bed and he's going to rush to where you are. The first thing a high value man will do is protect you. He's going to have the instinct to protect you from natural dangers. He's going to care if you got home safely. He's going to he's the guy who's like, look, when you get home, you let me know if you got home safely. And if you forget, he's going to ping you and be like, did you get home safely? And more importantly, he's also the guy that is going to make sure that you are safe at all times. He's the guy who opens the door for you and goes in after, or opens car doors, etc. Not because he's in any kind of way trying to be whatever, but he really just wants to make sure that you are safely in the car, you are protected. And there is an element around a high value guy where when you go on a date with him, or when you're in his sphere or in his space, he wants you safe. And it's a very different thing from controlling. He wants you safe. He wants to make sure you are safe at all times. So the natural instinct of a high value man is to make sure that you are safe. And so that was the first trait that we see in Mr. B, that he made sure that he wanted her safe. But what's really interesting for me is that he didn't try and get in a knickers or try and get something in it for him. There was nothing to be had. We later on find out that he wasn't even thinking that she was considering him as an option. So we know that he wasn't trying to get some. He didn't have an agenda. A high value man will protect you anyway. He wants to protect the women around him, his mother, his sisters. He's protective anyway. He's not looking for something out of it. He's not trying to be chivalrous so that you can give him a chance or sleep with him or anything. He's just in it because he cares about the safety of the women in his care. What we saw is Boaz started to tell the workers, because what Ruth would do is glean behind. So whatever the harvest is left behind is what the poor and the needy were allowed to follow behind and glean what was left behind for their own survival. So he says to the laborers, he says, like, y'all better leave some extras for her, okay, so that she has extras, all right? And so his instinct there is to provide already, but not with condition. Look, a high value guy will protect and provide with no conditions. He won't provide for you if you go on a date with him. He won't protect you if you give him your body. He's not interested in what he's going to get. His natural instinct as a man in your space and in your company is to simply provide. That's what makes him high value, to protect. So he saw this woman in a need and he's moved by your situation and your circumstances. He doesn't need to be instructed. He sees your situation. He sees the position that you're in, and he doesn't need you to offload your burdens and talk about how you haven't paid your bills for the last 100 months. He just can see that this is a woman who is struggling, but this is a woman who is conducting herself in a certain kind of way. And it's his instinct to just simply make provision. for you, and he just wants to make things better. He just wants to fix that kitchen cupboard, and he just wants to make things better. So that's point number 2, is he wants to provide. He doesn't need you to shame yourself. He doesn't need you to compromise yourself. He just wants to provide. He's the guy that takes you out for dinner, and he doesn't expect you to go to bed with him because he paid for dinner. Okay, this is a guy who will buy you a gift and not put the pressure on you to get something out of it. Okay, so high value men will naturally walk in the arena of provision and protection. And then we go on and realize that, not only did he protect her, and then we get to the point where with Boaz, she goes up to him and she lays it at his feet, as I spoke in one of my other videos. And guess what? He doesn't take advantage of her vulnerability. He doesn't take advantage of the fact that she's put herself here. Now, he could have easily taken advantage of her in that situation and sent her off packing and not be honorable, or just taken advantage of her, period. But what he does, he says to her, oh my goodness, get yourself together. Don't let anyone see you here. And in that regard, the protection and provision context is still playing out in this role, because we know that anytime in the Bible when there's repetition, it means God is very serious about this. This is something that we need to know. So he repetitively protects her, but this time he's protecting her reputation. Okay, so his instinct, a good high value man will protect your reputation. He will not let anything be said about you that is not right. He's the guy who gets upset if anybody says anything about his girl that is anything other than praiseworthy. He's the guy who will not let anything be said about you. This is the guy who protects your reputation. This is the guy who is looking out for how you come across. He is not going to shag you and mess with you and play with you and let the whole world see that he's using you as a toy. This guy wants to treat you in a way that is honorable. This guy wants to treat you in a way where no one will have anything to say about you. Look, if a guy is treating you in such a way that people can watch on and think, what's going on with those two? If he's treating you in such a way where people think, I think he's sleeping with her, and he doesn't mind people kind of thinking that, maybe he's the guy at work or a guy you're just dating, and people are just, and he doesn't mind that, and he's playing to the cameras, and he doesn't mind your reputation being at stake, And the truth is, a guy who in your neighborhood, in your community, who's dating you, he wants you to come across as a lady. So this is what Boaz does. It's like, look, let's pack it up. Don't make sure that no one sees you. Go home and I'm going to sort this out, because I want to do this in such a way that is absolutely honorable. If a guy is not being honorable with you and he's acting all kind of ways, he's not a high value guy. A high value guy will always protect your reputation, will always protect your image. And even if you are a whore, even if you are Rahab, even if you are the worst possible whore, he won't let anybody say anything about you. He won't let that out. He will protect you. He will up your reputation. He will do everything he can to secure your image and your reputation before men and society and in your community. And then Boaz provides again. He says, look, give me your scarf or whatever it is he asked for, and he put grain in there. He's always looking to provide, protect. High value men, the one signal that you're always going to get from them is the desire to constantly provide and protect. Now, it doesn't mean they're minted or that they have a lot of money or that they can, but whatever it is that they do have, they want you to have it. They want to give you. If you meet a guy who is reluctant to give and acts as if he's giving you is somehow some kind of something, and he's giving you so much and you must give in return, he must just be able to fondle you and to kiss you and get something in return, that is not a high value guy. A high value guy is just interested in making sure that you are comfortable. He's interested in making sure that you're okay, that you are safe, that you're emotionally safe, that you are physically safe, and that you are provided for, that your need at that time is absolutely met. And, we see that repetitive pattern with Boaz when it comes to Ruth. And in my experience, every high value guy that I've met has been precisely the same way. I have not felt at all that this date that he has paid for and taken me out on and splurged somehow must be rewarded with me giving up a precious part of myself. I have felt like it was his joy, it was his pleasure. He found joy and pleasure in being able to take me out on that date. He found joy and pleasure in being able to be that guy for me in that moment, and that my company was absolutely enough. So a guy who is high value will do, and I've said this in the videos before, he will do 3 things. He will provide, he will protect, and he will cherish. He does not want to ever put you in a position where your feelings are hurt. A high value guy will be mortified if he felt that he did or said anything that hurt your feelings. Totally and absolutely mortified at the idea that, oh my gosh, I hurt your feelings. That will just tear him apart. So these are the qualities, girls. And that's not about the guy buying drinks. It's about a guy being keen on your needs, being keen on observing the things that you need, the love you need. And sometimes, you know, it's about that guy who prays for you, okay? Who for those of you who are Christian, you know, he's the guy that prays for you. He's the guy that gives you a prayer covering. You know, he covers you in prayer. He protects you in prayer. He covers you in prayer. So all of those qualities that we are looking for and that we need to recognize in a high value guy. So if you don't have these qualities, if the man in your life doesn't care how his treatment of you reads to those who are watching on, if he doesn't see that dating you for a million years and not making an honest woman of you, or giving you what you want in terms of if you want to get married or you want a title of sorts, if he doesn't recognize that and just cares about his need, he's low value. We know the players are low value, we know the time wasters are low value, but we really need to really understand, appreciate that a man who's high value truly wants to protect, to provide, and to cherish you. Say as well that a low value guy is form over substance. The thing that's very interesting about Mr. B and Ruth was the fact that Mr. B was really drawn and attracted to Ruth, and he keeps, every time you sort of read that book and his references to her, he's so impressed by her substance. He's not interested so much in her form. He doesn't go on a lot about her good looks and her youth, and I'm sure she was beautiful, and I'm sure he noticed her. He clearly noticed her in the field, like, who's that girl? So she must have been attractive to him physically, but it was always her substance. And that's the one thing that I want to leave with you guys when it comes to dating, to dating a high value guy, is that a high value guy is always looking for substance over form. He appreciates a girl that's got it together, it looks good, because they're male and they're visual, and so that bit has to just be ticked. It just needs to be ticked, okay? But he's more interested in your substance. He's interested in your character. He's interested in your he's interested in who you are. And so Boaz asked and inquired people about this woman, and then he heard about her reputation, and it's because of her reputation that he was drawn to her and did not hesitate to marry her. It's because of her reputation that he didn't even blink. He didn't even do, well, I don't know. He had a dossier of her reputation. And so this is why, guys, I keep going on and on and on about being high value and maintaining that ladylike, classy posture in life, and behaving in such a way that is deep. The whole kind of what car does he drive or whatever. Look, girls. So this is why on this channel I'm always sort of talking about having depth and coming across and just being a woman of great depth and requiring more of a person. And you know, Ruth did all of that because he too had a good reputation. So Go for those things that matter, because guess what? A man's reputation, a man's name is more valuable than the things that he possesses, because the things he possesses, they can come and go. But when a man has a good reputation and his name is good in the hood and everybody knows it, he will never have a problem getting a job or getting offers or making wealth. Okay, a man with a good reputation will always be able to make wealth because of his reputation. So this is why I hammer on about this. But this is also the way that you know you're dealing with a high value guy, is that he is willing and able to constantly look past your looks and into substance. He's looking for substance. He wants to know you. When you're sitting and having dinner, he wants to get to know what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what makes your life, your inner world tick. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.